Yo, and last time we just saw this guy, he just like body slammed somebody and was like whoosh, and then the guy with the mask was like whoa, and then Haruki, if that's his real name, is like, whoa, what just happened and where did that guy come from? And that's where we left off. So it's just Roboprinny. We're just here and we're gonna continue on. A group that wanted to start a murder trial in Yasume Zoo went into a panic and started attacking the journalists, taking photos of them. Anything but that. It's fine. It's a chance to bolster your reputation as an ex-cult writer. Q-chan, ちょっと落ち着いて。何ですか、橋本さん。この際言いますけど、橋本さんちょっと余裕ぶっこきすぎです。ああ、それは確かだな。まあまあ、僕のことはいいんだけど、怪奇云々の前にまず物質的な脅威に対処しないとまずそうだな。Several wolf actors jumped out of the trees making weird screams. You can't use a gun against an enemy with a stick. A stick flew by, messing up her hair. As Chimi dodged, Hashimoto-san had moved into everyone's blind spot, blasted away two of the enemies. Hey. Probably out of the senseless shivery, they went for the try that pissed me off. Hey, it was 2 against 1. Oh, they beat me. Hashimoto-san tackled one, while Chimi-san landed a jump kick on the other. Hit in the jaw, and the wolf was knocked down in one hit. The mask fell off, and hey, he looked even scrawnier than me. What the hell? Yeah, she had great legs. Mimiya-san was actually doing good work, just swinging her shoulder back. A frail advantage was that you didn't need that much power to hurt with them, but this gourmet writer was so strong that it didn't matter. Was the bag full of rocks or something? All the ones hit in the head were knocked senseless. Hey, they keep coming. I hadn't expected Mission 3 to be an all-out battle with this group. It didn't last longer than 10 minutes. Everyone on their side was scrawny, while everyone on our side, myself included, were berserkers. Because of that, the dozens or so wolf actors that fought us ended up being knocked out to the ground around us, though I knew this wasn't over. This problem had a mythical solution. Mission 3, dealing with the Megura leaders of the feast. It'd be easy if I could we took him by beating these scrawny guys, but I had to defeat a false god that had ruled this place for centuries using myths and superstitions, whereas I would be unable to completely free Yasumizu, this village, from the confines of the mists. There were three. They were positioned and presented in a completely different way than the ones who clearly did the dirty work. Their apparel was fancier too. They were the great Lord Shinai Yomotosu Okami that had appeared before the hanging pine. They were unarmed and signaling that they didn't want to fight right now. Loyal to the real, he asked that. They seen the eye of Magurama. His eyes didn't show a hint of hesitation in hers didn't show a hint of fear. God was dead, she killed it. Thus she had no reason to fear or obey or tolerate a fake god. One more step. Sorry, that'll just make things more messy, so just leave it to me. I really can't even beat you, can I? Now, I have a message for Megurama from the old god of the mountain. They were shaken. If you understand that, then you must be important members of the family. Listen, the god has awoken again. The Okami and the great god are dead. The servants shall soon vanish as well. Upon leaving, the Okami said that there should be no more feasts. Thus, you have no cause to invade this sacred ground. Leave and tell this to everyone. Great Lord Shinai is no longer on this mountain. The head families will soon fade. Prepare yourselves and wait until then. To my mind, it is possible that they would back out. After all, God was killed and replaced. That was the hard truth. The people of Yasumizu had changed their values and now took on life. The group that had gained power through God would know this truth, lose their power. However, the false god asked that. It's in old language. It's a simple question, who are you? Among the many will factors here, the youths lying around us, and the three in front of us, two of them backed away in a panic. The elder in the middle stood out. His eyes were looking ahead beyond that mask. I could see unwavering black eyes, shaken vulgar. This wasn't the strength of a god. This was the strength of a human. He used to face head on. He used to ask me whether I had to take this end to mad conspiracy. That was the challenge, the very last boss. I'd lose if I said something bad. I'd lose if I showed any sort of hesitation. As if I stayed quiet for too long. Felt as the master was laughing at me. You are no god or divine child. You are no one. So, can you stand against God? That was a provocation. I knew this well. This is why I brought this over. I took out, again, the old wolf mask. The old man laughed.
ヤマトの国にお前がなれる神はない。そういうことかしら。
We already killed this god. After claiming that saying would take his place would be wrong in self-contradiction. That was why the old man laughed. He knew he couldn't back out because of something like this. Well, that was the right idea, considering that Shinai's faith's theology.
まあ、割とそれは日本神話っぽいわよね。死んだ神はこっちの国にはいないから。
Exactly.
どういうこと、間宮さん。
Indeed, this was the right time.
聖者と死者の領域が国で区切られてる。ほら、イザナギだってそうだったじゃない？
Indeed, that was the right place.
人も神も死ねば黄泉の国に行くのよ。
This god existed. I had to thank Mimiya-san for the explanation later. I put on the mask. Shut up, just let me talk. It was a bit pathetic, but I borrow your powers again. My name is Yomoto Su Akami.
汝申せしは狼、今はここにあらず。さればこそ我、狼にあらず。汝、狼ならば、我もまた狼なり。不死吉の地を治めたる、老面の神なり。
No, this isn't Fujiyoshi, it's Yomi. Saranaga's myths were all around us. The fact that you are both means we both died.
さらば、次なる夕霧の日来たらば、我ら、すなわち、落ち戻らんや。
Then the god would resurrect whenever the mists come. What an appropriate thing to worry about. The solution was simple, though. No, because the mists of the Yomi will never come over this mountain again.
いかなれや。
So he wasn't satisfied with the direct answer to his argument, huh? Then let me speak. This is the final story between us. The continuation of your story. After all, storytelling was my specialty. After the feast of the Yomi Purge, the wolves left the village. However, then came the Sauranaga mist, and the wolves rose up from the Yomi to kill people. The people were scared and killed more and more they thought to be wolves' allies. The feast of the Yomi Purge became a fearsome massacre. But then it was found out that the wolves actually hadn't died. That they had fallen off the cliff, weakened, caught by someone, locked in a dark prison. That someone was the snake. Shinai-san had turned out to be the wolves. The snake was using the feast to create an uprising against the wolves. To the wolves, the snake said that the ones who went against God were them humans, and continued to tell people that the wolves were bad. The snake would then wear Shinai's clothes, appear before people, control them completely using their frightening words. However, the wolves weren't tricked after all. The badger who'd come to the feast late came to the prison and told the wolves the truth. With the badger's help, the wolves escaped the prison and returned to the village. Regrettably, a lot of blood had already been spilled in the name of Okami. The wolves were sad that their name would from now on invoke fear and hate among the people. Thus the wolves choose to set things straight. First they went to the dream of a human girl who was born with the blessing of the snake, only to be marked by the wolves and chased out of her home. They told her to use powerful smoke and fire to burn all the guardians. She believed their words, and after a lot of trouble, she obtained the powerful smoke and fire from a faraway land. Then she returned back home, used it to burn down the snake, fellow guardians. And with them as last punish, the wolves took everyone on a journey far away. With that, Mujana, the badger, and the old god who was once the wolf's servant, had now taken its place as the new eternal god of the mountain. One of the guardians, the crow, was allowed to stay and be the watcher of the Yomi to prevent any from rising again. And with that, Shinai was gone, leaving only humans, the crow, and the new god, bringing forth a new age of peace. The new god occasionally brings the mists as a reminder of the wolves. It's a good mist that protects people's dreams, takes away disease, prevents fires, promises prosperity. The people begin to love it when they came. However, misty nights were when God walked the earth, so the people cleansed, sheltered, and dreamed not to get in their way. Upon seeing that, the new god said,
良きかな。
and they lived happily ever after. As I finished talking, I felt I could hear God's giggle with a bizarre sort of amazement. Well, that was probably good enough. By the way, I had chosen to say nothing about my daughter. I'd leave that plot to the daughter herself. So, people of the snake, the time has come for us to retreat. Let us pass through Yomi and go far away. And with that conclusion, I took off the mask.
迎え火の卓や煙の切り立ちて雲となるらん震え口縄
どうなったの？
さあ、今の歌はちょっと難しいけど、口縄は蛇のことだっけ？
They were whispering to each other for a minute or two. Eventually, the Mac's old man began moving back, looked up and spent a few seconds. After a brief but intense moment of prayer, he opened his mouth.
愛わかった
The two seemed perplexed.
だから言うたじゃろうがこんなものろくでもないと当主に逆らんのが身車の習いとはいえいい加減腹に据えかねたところじゃやめじゃやめバカせがれに墓の中のバカ親父は因果応報というものを知るがよしじゃ若造慣れん芝居をさせたがもう帰ってええぞこっちはこっちで片付けておこう
Huh? Well... I wasn't sure how to respond.
報道しますよ。
保健所が来たらえらいことになるわ。
まあそうなればこの村は消えてなくなるかもしれんのそうなった時蓄えがないものはどうなるのか路頭に迷わねばいいが
こんな時まで安水の足元を見る？
Jimmy-chan, that's not it. Fujiyoshi's people still need Fujiyoshi.
ちょっと待って。じゃあこのこと報道するなっていうの？
Well, yeah.
待ってよ。やめてよ。こんな大スクープっぽいネタを黙れなんて。
なんだかよくわからないけど、じゃあこうしたらどうかな。あの人たち、身車さんたちがいろいろ悪いことをしているなら、それが正されるかどうか待って、 どうにもならなかったらしっかり調べて立ち入ろうか。
橋本さん、いつものプロ根性は？
どうもきな臭いからね。命の危険がある話には慎重になるのがプロってもんだよ。
そう警戒せずともまあ見ておれ。数日のうちに新聞にでも出るじゃろう。どこかの田舎村で妙な事件が起きたとな。おれ、何を腰を抜かしておる。そこらに転がっとるもんを起こせ。撤収じゃ撤収。
He turned around and threw away his mask. I couldn't see his face, but his long gray hair, large neck, and defined jawline told me that he was really vigorous for his age. The fancy mask he dropped made a cluttering sound on the wood and gravel. God at once returned to the earth. As he felt nothing about it, the old man didn't even turn around. He shouted at the wolf actors and left.
おじい様。
I looked at the Chimi.
身車に孫娘などおらぬ。さあさあ、引け引け。
We watched as the wolves left without showing a hint of divinity. Richie-sama?
現当主はまだ身車千恵美の実父のはずだからわかんないよ。先代はよそで暮らしてるって会ったことなかったし。
I heard that after the first feast, they didn't even have another one for about 40 years. Maybe it wasn't because that there weren't any myths.
やめよ。身車にいい人がいたかもなんて今は別に知りたくない。
Alright.
それより今は事情を聞く気満々の間宮さんをどうするか考えた方が。
Kyoko Hose, I'm actually a fan of your articles. I saw the Year's Soup special report on January Apple page.
嘘、初めて自分の記事の読者見つけたってごまかされるか。
Well, I'll just tell you as we head to your car. Probably safe now, but it's hard to walk, isn't it?
確かにちょっと怖いね。
Don't worry. We have a shotgunner with an illegal saw-off here. Also, if you guys notice, he said kuwai, not kawaii. Kuwai means scary, creepy, where kawaii means cute. Let that be known.
やめてよ。つくづくいい性格の人のようね。いいわ、とことん付き合おうじゃない。
And so, this night passed without any werewolves appearing, and not everyone made it to it out unharmed, but it seemed like a good ending to me. All missions cleared now, I just had to return. I briefly told Mimiya-san about the feast and that they had helped prevent it. She did wonder how I knew about it. I considered telling her about the looping, mostly because it seemed interesting, but I was too tired to talk for that long. That was where I ended the interview. She made an exchange phone numbers and eager to interview me someday. We then met up with everyone in the hall and we went down to Saranaga. I looked around for Mako, but I couldn't find her anywhere, though I noticed that my backpack was completely out of food. Some writing stuff was gone too, and there were some clumsy letters. Thank you, Pusiasi-san. That was it. I didn't get it, but I only guessed she was satisfied with something and just left. I was kind of worried though. I had no doubts that she would grow up strong, and that no one would ever catch her again. Going down Saranaga on rubber boats was pretty easy. The fantasticalism mist surrounding us was very beautiful, chanting, and I could understand why the people of the past this was Yomi. Eventually the mist ended, and so did the forest. Reikeko was watching as the mist grew more distant. She was silently crying. Yeah, I might have taken her side if everyone in Yasumizu were irredeemable scumbags. The moment I thought that Chimi and Haru-chan pinched my ass like they just read my mind. Haru-chan supposedly could read minds, but she actually sussed it out herself this time. It'd be hard for anyone who's not Mochi to handle being her boyfriend. As we arrived at the crossroads and got out, I saw Mitsusuji waiting for us with three four-wheelers nearby. Sorry, the dream's over, right? Is your sheet back?
問題ない。
Good. Were you worried?
したよ。何人かボートごと転身するしよ。
I'm sorry, Okami-sama? Oh, she's just a sheep.
てめえ
Don't worry.
何言ってやがる。つか、いいのかよ。神だとかいう話だったろ。
You can reveal it to these people.
ああ、そうかよ。道理でてめえがそうやって住人の前でバカみてえに仮面抱えてると思ったぜ。
Oh, I almost forgot, Nasato-san. I used this for the act, but this is actually a human sacrifice relic dug out in a small wayside shrine in Yasumizu. It is? There were bones there too. Clean it up, give them a proper burial, display them, do whatever you want there. Understood. Well, I have no talent for it. We'll probably have fitting people come sooner than later. Speaking of which,
もう
everyone
柿
else?
原のホテルに着いた。そっからしばらく熱海行きのバスツアーにぶっ込むからな。ま、あとは任せろ。
You really are part of that kind of organization, huh?
正義の味方。
Wow, I got an impressive X.
元カノ言うなバカ。まあ、てめえにも何かしら音沙汰があんだろうから。
Haven't I died enough?
言い方が悪かった。まあ、大ごとにはしねえようにするから安心しろ。
Then I'll unblock you.
借拠かよ。つくづくひでえとしか言いようがねえやつだよ、お前はよ。
I'm normal, it's the world that's
あ
insane.
の
あ、悪い。
いやその
Oh, my ex broke up recently. Her job is an ally of justice, and coincidentally, we bumped into each other here. Wait. What?
なんつう紹介してんだてめえ。
This is Chimi Sarazawa-san. She got into a looping hellhole because of a certain someone, and we dated each other for a moment. So she's the rumored ex. She's also a casual murderer.
噂じゃない。っていうかやめてよ。あの壮絶な思い出の数々をそんな感じで簡略化すんのは。
まあ、その辺のあれは俺のせいもあるし。何も言わねえにしても相変わらず最低だなお前。
I think dissing me shouldn't become a trend.
いいからもう寝たい。
お風呂もできれば入りたい。
うざいし春秋様を殺したい。
なんだよ、この面白ご一行様は。
My
あんた
apologies.
が保護者か。まあ、乗ってくれ。春秋、あんたはバイクあったけど乗ってくか？
No, that's fine. Let's part ways
そう
here.
か。わかった。
バカ。
私はその嫌いじゃないよ。私らのことは気にせずに素直になれば。
Nope.
たまには社に詣でに来ません。町のお方。
はるちゃんはこっち向いて。ハッサンとやらはとっとと帰るといい。来ると
See, again, yes. Tell the others that nothing, I'm supposed to be dead. Yeah, whatever. Good night. Goodbye. I said that and turned around. That was the last thing I heard from them. Then I heard them no longer. Been a while, my beloved bike. Though I hop on it later, a power drive, some steam walking, cliff climbing, acting, and fighting. No day had been exhausting as this one. I finally remembered that my hand was injured. I'd just sleep. I really wanted some sleep. I woke up surrounded by mist. I woke up next to the pile of corpses.
なんてね。寝すぎだよ、春秋さん。さあさあ早く遠くへ連れてってよ。
Is that a dream? That kind of stuff wouldn't happen again. Nothing strange would happen in reality. There's absolutely no such thing as werewolves. I whispered to no one. Then I gathered my stuff and left. The place where the convenience store was supposed to be empty. It's just forest. Of course, that was all just a dream. I didn't get lost anymore, but I felt like I'd soon forget this road. That was what dreams were like. Haru-chan? This whole thing was just juvenile delusion. The organization was just a public peacekeeping agency. God was purely psychological. Therefore, all of that had to be the productive reality. In the endless Saranaga, the rotting Yomibito, the few monsters, and a certain someone's love. It was all a dream. That was how it's chosen to be looked at. And so I returned to my normal everyday life. One day, well, after that, Mayor Fujiyoshi's village resigns due to corruption scandal. A pet company in the area goes bankrupt and has to put down a lot of dogs. That's it. I expected more considering he had told me to read it. After the incident, I gathered local newspapers and mimicked the previous thought to the family heads. Yet these were the only relevant reports I found. Though it was nothing, it would be rash to estimate this. A village mayor, probably a Megorama or someone related, resigning was something that simply couldn't have happened there before. Even if I had, it would be something that would be unnoticed. The people would simply decide that it was a secret power struggle. This could only mean that there was something a lot worse, just corruption, and this made it out to the public because they simply couldn't hide it at all. The same went to the pet shop. If the Mikurama had really used rabies for the corruption being national news. After all, it was basically a form of bioterrorism. Hell, with all the rabid dogs they had, the disease must have spread to other mammals like rats. If these rabid animals spread all over Japan, no longer be considered rabies-free, it would cost the country a lot. Otherwise, those just unhygienic dogs trained in a weird way. Or maybe it's the elitists hid it to prevent panic and loss of resources. I hadn't heard from them yet, and I got nothing when trying to call her myself, even though I sang the Buddha's Ashrock. Well, whether government or secret organization, I hope group did whatever they had to do in the background. Apparently, the situation in Fujiyoshi was stable. There was a mayoral election, and the Nasato heads ended up taking the post. The reason why they skipped a Haiguchi was probably too complicated to release for the public. I was informed of this through an email left by Kiyonosuke Shi Nosato. He was outside the village right now, along with Rekeko. He rationalized that this with his family by saying that would seclude himself with her and keep the dangers that was the Usamatsu family away. Bold. He could easily contact his brother and current head and mayor, get info from him, and I probably would learn more if I contacted them. But this was their problem now. If I went any deeper, I'd just be a rubbernecker. I did find out that life in Yasumizu carried on as always, which was good enough for me. Oh man. The fact that I've been trying to copy the previous Nasados means that still hadn't recognized the whole event was a dream. Or maybe I had some lingering feelings. I could still see her at the edge of my vision. Was it hard for me to end it? Weird, my flashbacks were extremely vivid, still failed to leave me.
やあ、自称春明さん。
Yo, I almost screamed.
大学
Almost.
院生らしからぬいい家だね。
Yeah, I guess.
あ、これお土産です。
Oh, thank you. Sea cucumber. Where'd you get that treasure? I'm hyped. Chimi sensei, how did you get in?
さっきいっぱい人が出てきたからオートロックはそれで抜けて、玄関はなんか開いてたよ。
They always come in doves, so I just left the door
知り合
open.
い？
Editors,
実はさっきから気になってるんだけど、
complimentaries?
作家さん？
Kinda.
これテレビで見たこと。あ、こっちは学生。全部作家の名義違うじゃん。
Which one's the real one?
どうせ全部偽名でしょ。っていうか久石春明って久石陽明。
Which one to get? Yeah, okay. Rocky can be read
アリ
as
バイのことじゃない。
Yome
はい、ふざ
and
けてました
Sashi
ね。
as alibi. You were just messing around, huh? I didn't. That's my pen name for when I'm barely working.
根底がふざけている。っていうか何それ、人気小説家？人生の勝利者じゃん。庶民なめんな。
I'm actually living in a constant fear of deadlines, editors, and writer's block.
本名は？
She chased me around my office and studied for a while. Then,
まあいいですわ。
right, why are you here?
みっちゃんに住所を聞いて。みつじさん、
Oh, why are you two friends
あ
now?
いつだけはやめとけっていっぱい言われた。
Seriously, why are you here?
あれから5社ほど落ちまして。
Whoa,
大
harsh.
学は軽く夏休みだったりもしました。
It's that season, huh?
ちょっと気分転換が必要だな。そういえば二血してくれるっていうナンパな兄ちゃんがいたなって。
Yeah, in a dream.
ちえみは夢の中とは思ってないけど。
You sure about this? You're talking to a werewolf who looped around and snagged 3 women along the way.
あら大変。じゃあそばにいなきゃ。また殺せるように。
Big words.
どう？いろいろあった甲斐あって、ちょっとはいい女になっ。
I think you have poor
お
taste.
互い様でしょ。
Denying that would piss me off, so I
一
said
本取っ
nothing.
た。
You know what? First to 10 can make their other do whatever they
や
want.
った。
What?
ちえみちゃんは自称春明さんのルールをここから先は一歩もあげない。一緒になったら二人でどこまでも狂っちゃうって言ってたっけ？だったらちえみは春明さんの敵でいいや。優秀な対戦相手、あるいはお邪魔虫としてね、神様。
How bold of you. She always smiled, stuck out her tongue, and ran off ahead of me. A cheerful, insane, weird girl. This was very scary and interesting. I'd play along. I'd catch up to her. Put this on
み
then.
っちゃんの。
I got the bike after we broke up. The helmet's
そ
new.
っかそっか。ふん、
What?
メットかぶる前にちょうだい。ずっと我慢してたんだから。
Crap, what a surprise attack. If you're gonna say that, guess I'll just do it. She acts I kissed her. Congratulations. You're the 13th woman to be kissed by this guy.
おめでとう。春明さんは生まれて初めて中で敗北感を感じたため、苦し紛れに過去のスコアを晒しま。
Let's go.
はーい。わお、結構座り心地いいんだ。
It's not that fast though. Put your legs on this step and hands on the belt or
Okay.
the frame.
あんま密着しないんだね。
Don't bother me while I'm driving or you'll be knocked on the heaven's
それ
door.
は夜のお楽しみでしょ
Ooh.
う。まあ自称春明さんがまた事故って立ち往生とかしない限りですけど。
I've learned how to do some maintenance, immediately used it in the book and
春
writing.
明さんは調子に乗るとかっこ悪くなりがちだから注意すること。
Well, you keep in mind not to go on a random murder spree and kill me.
わお2だ。あとは2人ともリセットはもうないことを忘れずにってとこ。
True. Let's go then.
オッケー。
Just as the previous journey led to a dream we could no longer return to, this one would surely lead us to the moment so great that would never be repeated. Well, I just accidentally skipped that. Unlocked revelation mode. By setting it on, the options you can replay the game with additional thoughts and flashbacks by Haruaki, as well as added scenes from other characters' viewpoints. I'll be waiting there. And thus that was the main story of Raging Loop. Is the gallery now. So much had happened. But look, we still hadn't gotten 3 of those things. More endings. 2 more ways to die. But hey, there's still some left. But I think this will be it for today. We will continue this another day. I hope to see y'all in the next one.